Hey there, Libra. Welcome to your reading for the week of May 5th. You have the Spirit World card. It says your spirit guides are sending you helpful people and opportunities your way. You have the Scarab Spirit. It says what appears unusable may still have great value if you look deeper. If that isn't a card that describes basically the time that we're in, I don't know what does. I say it all the time. We're basically in a time where we all feel like we are looking at the desert. You cannot make this up right here. I'll just tell you the story of the Three of Wands. The story of the Three of Wands is that he feels at first he is looking at the desert because the water in front of him is golden in color. But when he looks closer, he realizes that there are boats or ships on the ocean and that he could easily get on those boats and he could move in a new direction or he could go on an adventure. So he is initially looking at something and thinking there is zero opportunity for growth in what I am looking at. But when he looks closer, he realizes there is a huge opportunity in front of him. So I feel for a lot of you that this is about taking another look at an opportunity or something. I think it's no mistake that you have the Emperor here. You've been getting the Emperor with me like crazy, I'm pretty sure. The Emperor is your opposite sign, Aries, and there is a bunch of heavy energy going into Aries. And all that energy is asking you to boss up. I think out of all the air signs, you, Libra, like all air signs lately have been getting this message of needing to boss up, but like you get it the most. So I feel it's really time for you to take control of your situation and to look closer at an opportunity that is in front of you. This could also represent like digging deeper into an opportunity that you have. I'm getting a million messages right now on this card, just so you know. But the other thing that I'm getting is that like sometimes I think we don't realize that something is a stepping stone in our life, and that is kind of popping up in my head right now, that there could be something that's coming in. And like when you first look at it, you might be like, I don't know if I want this. Like it could be like a job opportunity, for example, where it's like it would be a job, basically. But what I think you should look deeper if you get any opportunity. I'm not saying you have to do anything. Like, I don't think tarot should tell you what to do, right? You ultimately have to make the choice. But I would look deeper into it because maybe you will realize that it is a stepping stone to something greater. And that is kind of the feeling I get. And that's what you're going to have to take control of with the Emperor energy. So I don't really feel like this is a person. If anything, it's you. If anything, you are embracing the energy of the Emperor, which is good. Next, you have the Three of Swords. Three of Swords can be like a heartbreak or sadness. Again, there could be great value in your heartbreaks or in your sadness in something as well with the Three of Swords. Usually tough lessons are our greatest teacher, to use a cliche. But, I kind of feel the Three of Swords is really a card of healing. Those three swords are in your own heart. And the whole point of the Three of Swords is that we have to remove those swords from our heart so that we can move forward. And we can do this through forgiveness. We can do this through, seeing the lesson for what it is and moving forward. But I think all of those things would be really great for you, Libra, to like look at the lesson, to look at the things that are going on and to accept it. And then you will move forward. There's not much to say there. You have the Five of Wands. It's a really great time for competition, quite honestly. It's not a great... Actually, no, let me rephrase that. It's not a great time for competition. It's a great time for co-creation, but it's a great time to look at the competition. So I'm a big fan, especially for this year and also next year, of looking at the competition, seeing what they're doing, seeing what they're not doing, and then coming up with a plan based off of that. And, obviously I don't know what all of you do, but, again, if you're trying to get a raise or promotion, it's like if you really look at the competition or if you look at what is required for the job, it's like maybe you can come up with a plan on what you can say in the interview to make yourself stand out. We really have to stand out right now. I've been talking about this for years in trying to prepare people for this, but Pluto and Aquarius, you have to shine bright. You have to, you have to be something like more. And that doesn't mean that you aren't enough right now, but it means that there might be certain things that you're not thinking about that really could enhance how you appear to like a job, for example, right? It's like sometimes I think people don't put things on the resume that they should. Like maybe you had some sort of experience years ago that could help you, or maybe you learned something, or maybe there's something you do in your life that you should include on your resume, and doing that could really help you stand out above the competition. And I kind of feel that is what you need to take control of with that Emperor, is like doing something to stand out, right? With the Emperor, you have the Hierophant, the teacher. I literally just said it, that sometimes our lessons are our greatest teacher. The Hierophant is the teacher, and he's making this symbol with his hand right here, and that symbol represents a blessing. So I feel that some of you, it's almost like you need to get the blessing from the pain. I say this to everyone. I think it's Eric Thomas, the hip-hop preacher. I think he's the one who says, at the end of pain is success, or something like that. And, he also says something about getting the gold from your pain. And that's kind of what I feel here with the Hierophant, is like, don't let things, it's probably plural, probably multiple things that have happened to you that you are thinking about this week. Like, don't let those things just be bad things that happen to you. Get the gold. And I feel that this reading is encouraging that. With the Three of Swords, yes, you have the Chariot, which is actually very good, because the Chariot would say you are leaving the past in the past. He's leaving this city behind him and he's going in a new direction. Guess what he's doing, Libra? He is setting himself apart. Exactly what I said on that Five of Wands. He is doing something unique. People inside his city might be saying, you're crazy. Why are you leaving the safety of this city? Why are you going on this adventure? But he knows that his alignment is somewhere else. He has these stars up here, these moons right here, and this represents as above, so below. So he is in perfect alignment with what he wants, and because of that, he knows he has to leave something behind, even if it's heartbreaking, with the Three of Swords, right? He knows that the universe is guiding him in a new direction. The reason I talk about this so much as well is, number one, you have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is your inner truth. And we also have Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces is like, I've been saying this for years. It's like people looking for a savior. It's like people will be looking for a person who has all the answers. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but, definitely something that I worry about, that I think about, is that people are going to make AI like God, and be like, oh, AI has all the answers, but, which is going to pull people very far away from spirituality. But I think we're in an important time where we have to realize that, no, actually, we have the answers. We just have to be willing to go against the grain and go against what other people think, and we have to live life. We have to be the example. Pluto and Aquarius. We have to inspire other people to break out of that belief system, right? And you don't have to say anything to anyone. Just live your life and prove it to yourself, and that will prove it to other people, right? With the Five of Wands, you have the King of Wands. You always get fire all up in your business, Libra, so it wouldn't surprise me if you were attracting a fire sign, or just a bold, assertive person like a King of Wands. This could also be you needing to be more bold and assertive with that Emperor energy. This is also Aries, so, your opposite sign energy, like I said. Sometimes when I do readings, and if I get a bunch of, like, opposite sign energy, I tell the person I'm reading for, you probably should go learn about Aries, and you should probably learn the energy, figure it out. I think we should do that anyway, right? I think that that's part of working with our astrologies. We work with the opposite sign as well, so it might be a good time for you to learn that. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this card that says, review your responsibilities. Not all responsibilities are ours to hold. I think that's a great thing to do right now. You have this card that says, you are enough. You do not have to give more. Didn't I just say that? I don't know. I feel like I did. But anyway, I feel like you are enough. You give enough. Definitely a good time to review responsibilities. You don't have it, but the Ten of Wands has been coming up like crazy for the past few months. I think the Ten of Wands is a good card. And this card definitely reminds me of the Ten of Wands. That's basically what the Ten of Wands means, is like he has those wands in front of his face. And so he can't see the forest through the trees. He can't see how close he is to completing what he's about to complete. He's about to complete his journey. He has his home in the background. He's about to have a harvest. And that's kind of how I feel for you here. It's like, if you're carrying the burdens of other people, you're going to be having a hard time. So make sure your responsibilities are your own here. You have the Three of Wands, the Nine of Swords, and the Knight of Wands. The Three of Wands, like we told the story of the desert, it's definitely time for you to get on one of those boats and go in a new direction. I do also feel that your ships could be coming in. Three of Wands can also say your ships are coming in. And you have the Eight of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, the Sun, really positive cards. So if you have been putting work into anything, like a project, a business, an idea, putting work into yourself or your health, you could be finally getting better results with this Three of Wands energy. And I think your ships are coming in. You have the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords I consider to be the worst card in the tarot. It's a card of like Groundhog's Day. It's a card of every day being the same. And again, I feel this is an energy that a lot of people need to break out of. And so if you are experiencing Groundhog's Day, where basically you do the same thing over and over and over again, just make a change, right? It's just that simple. Do something different during your day. Mix up the routine. I really don't think this is that big of a deal for you. I think it's just saying that life has become a little bit too routine for you, Libra, and now it's time to just mix it up so that you can be in like a fresher, more different energy. And that's what I would do here. I'm not too worried about the Nine of Swords in your reading. Again, I would be worried if you stay stuck in this energy, but it doesn't feel like this is going to be something that is hard to change. One thing I will say with the Three of Swords is that the Nine of Swords can be about like accepting pain. The Nine of Swords, he is in pain, but he's not in enough pain to change his situation. He's just staying where he is. So if you are in pain, I would ask you, how bad does it have to get? And hopefully not any worse. So if you're in pain in the situation, that is probably your clue that you need to get out of whatever the situation is. You have the Knight of Wands. I'm a big fan of spontaneous energy. We are in a very spontaneous time. So spontaneous energy can be about needing to make quick changes. If you're working on a project, a business, an idea, and anything in your life, and if a new direction pops up, explore that new direction and see where it goes. Also, just realize that pretty much nothing that we do right now is going to end how we think. Everything that we work on, everything we create is probably going to go in a new direction. The challenge is that we have to get started anyway. It's like one of those things, because like I've had people ask me about this before. They're like, well, I want to start this thing, but if it's going to change, then I don't want to start it and then have to change. Why can't I just jump to the change? I'm like, well, that's not how it works. I said at the beginning of the reading, stepping stone energy, right? It's like sometimes there are things that are critically important for us to learn. And so it's like we have to start with the stepping stone before we can get to the next thing. I know that's a little bit annoying. I know that's frustrating, but I would just say enjoy the journey with the Knight of Wands. With the Three of Wands, you have the Five of Wands again. Whenever this happens, whenever I have a card in a row and then it starts the next row, I always look at this as the reading is like zooming in on that card. It's like providing more detail for that energy. So definitely setting yourself apart is going with the Chariot and the Three of Wands. Going in new directions, doing the opposite of what everybody else is doing is probably going to help you overcome competition. Same Nine of Swords with the Two of Swords, same thing. Two of Swords, she's thinking this or that. She's trying to protect her heart, but she needs to realize that there's another option behind her here. She doesn't have to settle on her current situation. So with the Nine of Swords and the Three of Swords, this could be you currently settling for less in a situation than you deserve. This kind of is popping into my head as something that's a little bit tricky, but not like tricky necessarily in a bad way, but it's like sometimes like it's popping into my head as a relationship. I'm not saying this is a relationship. I'm just giving you this as an example. It's like sometimes I think we can be in a relationship that's like, it's not bad and the good moments are really good, but that's what tricks us into staying when things are really bad, right? It's like, you can have a person who's like avoidant, for example, and it's like when they're really hot, they're hot for you. They're really passionate and into the connection. But really, if you look at the relationship, it's like maybe for the most part, they're ignoring you, right? It's like, it's good, but really it's bad. And, that is the Nine of Swords, Three of Swords, Two of Swords. It's about being honest and saying, am I attracted to this person? And when you're with a person like that, you're not really attracted to the person. You're attracted to the drama, more or less. Even if it's not dramatic, you're just attracted to the highs and the lows is what you're attracted to. And I feel like this is encouraging you to get out of that energy. And again, I'm not saying it's love. This happens in work as well, in business. It's like, in business, this has happened to me as well. It's like you can be doing something that kind of is working and can make you like a lot of money, for example. But for the most part, it's like maybe you're having to struggle the whole time to do it. That is not really working. And I feel that energy here in this reading. That's why I'm spending so much time on it. Is like I feel that you need to be honest with yourself about something that you're putting your energy into, because there's probably a much better opportunity that is much smoother or is actually good. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Page of Wands. Yeah, just encouraging adventurous energy. I feel this is encouraging you to be adventurous. It's encouraging you to go have experiences, go have fun, all that other stuff. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Fear of Failure card. It says, your fear of failure can be very crippling, especially when it keeps you from even trying. And you have to try. You have this Retreat card. It says, sometimes taking a break is the best thing you can do to gain clarity and a fresh perspective. I do think a break would be good for you. I also feel that right now, this might not be the fear of failure. It might be just perfectionism. You might be trying to be too perfect in something that is never going to be perfect. So in the first place, and life isn't school. We don't have to get an A on a test in life. I think, if life has taught me anything, being a D student is enough, is good enough. And so again, I think this is saying don't try to be perfect. You have the Magician, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Sun. Much better part of the reading, for sure. Like, the second half is amazing, really good. So it seems to me like you are attracting something new into your life. Probably a new opportunity, because he is pointing towards the Ace of Pentacles. So you could be finally getting an opportunity in your life that is much more fulfilling, where there's actual growth potential. But I think there's no ups and downs. It's not like drama. It's not like highs and lows. It's more stable feeling to me. And again, sometimes I think we can trick ourselves into thinking something that's stable is boring, but it's not really boring. It's stable, And so I feel like that's what's coming in for you, Libra. You have the Eight of Pentacles. Definitely feel your hard work is paying off here. I kind of said that earlier. If you've been working on something for a while, you could finally be getting the result here. Eight of Pentacles is material success on the horizon. So if you've been working towards something or on something, it's like you're almost done. He only has one more pentacle to complete here. The trick is, with all this Aries energy in your reading, Aries, if you read like any old astrology books are notorious for speaking more negatively. We'll put it that way. I can think of one in particular that I can't remember the name of the book, but it's by Liz Green, one of the big astrology books out there. It's like some people consider that book to be very negative, and in a way it is. But at the same time, it's like the negative of Aries is that they start things, but they don't finish things. And so I feel with all the Aries energy, clearly all up in your business here, that you need to make sure that if you're working on something, that you see it through to the end. You kind of complete it, and you're not the only sign this week to get a message like that. So I think it would be important to finish something that you're working on or working towards. You have the Sun, which is amazing. The Sun is happiness, joy, optimism, contentment, ease, good things happening for you. It also kind of says the sun is shining on you this week, so a lot of reasons to be happy with the sun. With the Magician, you have the Temperance card. Yeah, Temperance is alchemy. It makes sense with that Two of Swords. Sometimes I think the solution to the Two of Swords is kind of like the Temperance card, basically. She is thinking this or that, but why do things have to be this or that? Like, why can't things be both? Right? Two things usually are true at once. It kind of, not to get political here, but it kind of reminds me of politics. It's like, if you look at politics, both sides believe that they're right, and there's nothing you're going to do that's going to change their mind, right? So that is how two things can be true at once, whether you believe it or not, right? And so the Temperance card is about mixing things together. It's about, kind of using your skills. And I kind of feel that's what needs to happen here with the Magician card, is that you are mixing your tools together or you're combining ideas. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Is the juice worth the squeeze? I say it in every single reading for you, Libra, now for like the past 2 years. So you're definitely clearly in a time where you are deciding like what's worth it and what's not worth it to work on in life. And yeah, I just think it's a good time to weigh up your options. It's like, this really isn't something that's like good or bad. It's just something that you're doing. You're probably looking at your responsibilities, like that responsibility card said, and you're looking at what's working, what's not working, and all that other good stuff. With the Sun, you have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is like wish fulfillment, so definitely could be some sort of wish coming in for you with the Sun. The Sun really highlights whatever card is clarifying it, so there could be some sort of wish fulfillment or fulfillment in general. With the Nine of Cups, we have to be fulfilled, and I said this at the beginning of the reading with the Ace of Swords being your truth. You know, the Nine of Cups is about, he is really matching the energy of what he wants. He is bathing in the energy of what he wants. He's adopting the habits, acting as if he already has what he wants. I think doing all those things would be very good for you this week, Libra, and will probably attract things to you more quickly. So I would make sure you are in the right energy. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have here you go. You have this Face Your Fears card, which this other card basically said the same thing. It said fear of failure. You have this Accept Help card. Yes, you know, if there are people who can help solve your problem very quickly, I would definitely tap into those resources of people as well. You have the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups. Two aces is a definite yes to any question that I haven't answered. The Ace of Swords, like I said, is your inner truth. It is, Ace of Swords is laser-like focus. We need to be hyper-focused on exactly what we want with Ace of Swords. If we do that, we will get it very quickly. So this could be a victory coming in for you. I also feel like you're overcoming some sort of obstacle. The Ace of, I don't always say that, but the Ace of Swords is above the mountains on the card. And so that represents a quick victory or, overcoming some sort of obstacle that you've been dealing with. And that's kind of more the feeling that I'm getting on the Ace of Swords. You have the Ace of Pentacles, like something you asked for is coming in. You know, it's like clear to me that you, magician, you asked or prayed for something and now you're getting it. It definitely could be an opportunity that has a lot of growth potential. And I would just accept the opportunity, whatever it is, because I feel like you will be very happy that you did, plain and simple. You have the Page of Cups. Could be a little bit of love. You know, for those of you that want love, could be a love offer coming in for you this week. Not really a love reading, though. But, again, it's always possible. Really, the Page of Cups has this fish in his cup, and we don't know, actually, if that fish is real or part of his imagination. You know, some people say that fish is his pet. Other people say it doesn't exist. It's part of his imagination. What I say is he needs to make sure that fish doesn't jump into the water behind him. He needs to ground that fish into reality. That fish could be a dream. It could be something he wants to create. It could be an opportunity with the Ace of Pentacles. And so if you have some sort of dream opportunity, or if something is jumping into your life, I would grab onto it, make it happen. Even the Emperor energy, I always say he has his armor on underneath his cloak. He's sitting down. He's not doing anything. But the armor on says that he is ready to go at a moment's notice. So whenever an opportunity presents itself, he grabs onto it. He brings it down to earth. He takes the action to make it happen. And that's what I feel the Emperor is saying. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Fool. Yeah, definitely time to take a leap of faith, like towards your something that is your truth. We're really getting to the truth with the astrology, just in general. And it's not like I think that we lie to ourselves necessarily, although we kind of do. But I think we do things that we think we should be doing, right? And that is the big difference between like the past several years and the time that we're entering into now. Is that we shouldn't necessarily be doing what we think we should be doing. We should be doing what we feel we should be doing. We should be kind of going after our really like our core desires, the things that we truly, truly want deep down inside, no matter what. And if you do that, then you'll be very successful. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is like stability, financial stability. It seems to be a very good time for finances. Even the March readings, the May bonus readings that I did were very good for finances. So I think a lot of people could be doing things to stabilize their finances. I think finances are far from perfect, and I've been saying this since 2016. Neptune in Pisces rules anything that flows. We call it currency. There's C in the word. We say that it flows, and that's how we speak about money. So, Pluto going into, Neptune in Pisces is what I meant to say. Neptune has moved into Aries. It's going to retrograde back into Pisces, but like next year, January 26th, Mark my words. I think the changes are going to, like, we're seeing the beginnings of it right now, but the real changes will probably start to happen next year financially. What does it look like? I have no freaking clue. I would never try to predict something with Neptune. Neptune is very Uranus-like, and not exactly the same, but Neptune is the deepest, darkest ocean with 3,000 foot high waves with a billion hurricanes over your head. Can't even predict what will happen, right? So there will be changes financially. I don't think it's something we should worry about, but I think, it's a good time to maybe have a little bit of money on the side. With the Page of Cups, you have the Lovers. Definitely could be love coming in for you here. It's kind of like this is the only place that love is showing up in your reading. So, it's like one of those things that maybe it's not like a major focus for you, Libra, but it could be something that is coming in. Next, you have this May card. I always clarify these monthly cards, and you have this card that says success on it. So May could be a very successful month for you, and especially if you're going towards your truth. Again, you're going to have a hard time. Even in relationships as well. Like I said, if you're staying in a relationship where it's like, yeah, it has its highs, but it's mostly low if you really look at it, you're going to have a hard time. If you are honest with yourself and you move towards something that's for your higher good, then things will be successful. You have the Shield card that says you need to defend yourself. I seem to remember that you always get cards of putting up boundaries and drawing a line in the sand and things like that. So it could be a good week to focus on your boundaries. You have this Valley card that says deep personal strength and peace that assures success. Love it. More success coming in for you here, Libra. You have this Needle and Thread. It says a sincere wish will be granted. 9 of Cups with the Sun. It is definitely like a wish being granted or getting something that you want and desire. And finally, you have this Fly card that says a period of ill health and depression. Again, get out of the 9 of Swords. I think this has a very easy solution, which 9 of Swords is change up your day. Change up Groundhog's Day. Get off the hamster wheel. Do something different. Go in a different direction. Try something new. Could be anything. And I think you'll be happy that you did. But this looks pretty good here, Libra. So thank you for being here. And definitely enjoy your week.